Welcome everybody to another edition of WCW 2004 here in TEW 2020, as it's now the go-home show for Halloween Havoc. And we'll get to that in just a moment. But of course, before we do that, it's time for next to last final push for the 2004 Mayhem Turner Pick'em. Again, just go to the link that'll be in both either the Reddit post I do or the Reddit post. Either the Reddit post I do or the what you see down here in the video description, and just go to the website, sign up, click on create a prediction, and then go through and just choose who you think will win. Again, remember, this is, I can tell you, guarantee this is not going to be a straight, chalk tournament where all the heavy seeds, first top seeds get to the top, but also, obviously, it's not going to be all upsets down the road, so just, depends on who you pick to win. And of course, as I said before, remember the important part at the end is pick the 4 people who will be in the final 4-way ladder match for the final and the actual winner. The second place does not matter at all because there is no second place, there's just 4 people. And again, to go over the prizes, for first place, there'll be a match at the January pay-per-view of your choice outside of the world title main event. A wrestler brought up from Developmental of your choice, a Dev 7 of your choice, a Dev release of your choice, and 1 push and D-push of wrestlers on the roster, and 1 firing of a member of the WWF in-game roster, with certain limitations that will be described to the person who wins the prize. In second place, a title match of your choice on a Nitro, a push and a D-push, and a Dev signing of your choice. And third place, a match at a Nitro, title match of Nitro or Revolution of your choice. And then also for third place, a match at a Nitro of your choice and a Dev signing of your choice. Also, if we do manage to get 10 predictions or more, it will be a random drawing from everybody who put in a prediction to win, and they'll also get to have a match on a Nitro or Revolution of their choice. But again, there'll be this, and then there'll be the actual Halloween Havoc, which will be up Friday. And likely what I'm going to do, just to give some extra time, is post the first weekend of November, the Friday after next, and then we'll hopefully be back on our 2 videos per week focus after that. But anyway, let's get on to actual Nitro. Be back with that in just a moment. And we are live from the beautiful Scott Trade Center in St. Louis, Missouri, and something where I should have put an actual but heat up the main angle, but it should happen. What can you do? Oh well. Anyway, out comes Shane Helms along with the rest of the Helms legacy to a big old heel pop from the crowd as Helms gets in the ring and says, "Years upon years, I always wanted to be a wrestler. In fact, I joined some backyard crap that was run by a certain party member along with his brother, where we killed ourselves for no money and it only existed to get Jeff and Matt a job in the WF. After that, we were left out to twist in the wind with nobody else to do that. But that's okay, because I continued to hone my craft, and I got a job in WCW. I thought I was on my way up. But then I was told, instead of being able to show my talent in the ring, I was told I would have to learn to dance, and then I would be going on tour with NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys and a bunch of other boy bands, because that was the way to get into a new market. Well, I can at least see the point of that, but, it being WCW, they screwed that up too. Good job, Eric. But, unlike other people, I didn't run away up north, though, because I knew things wouldn't get any better there for a guy like me. What I did instead was I met the moment, and I rose rung by damn rung. In the original dying days of this company, I was rising to the top. And then, when the reboot happened, I continued my path to greatness. I realized that none of you idiots would ever get behind somebody like me. So I started killing legends, and I was damn good at it. And then I became the greatest United States champion of all time, without a question. But now, after years upon years of work, it's my time. And people are saying that I'm a whiny guy, or Sean Hair deserves your shot. That's BS. You see, because at Halloween Havoc, what's going to happen is proof that I should have been at the top a long time ago. And that people the guys like Sean O'Hare, they're only there because you morons actually care about them, instead of actually talented people like me. Last week, I showed what happens when you get in my way, when I super kicked Ray Jr.'s teeth down his throat when he got distracted, and I didn't. And in 6 days, Halloween Havoc, Sean, that's the same damn thing that's going to happen to you. So keep that title nice and shiny, because new ownership is going to be taken one way or another. And there's nothing you or these fans can do about it, because it is my legacy to become the WC World Champion in 6 days at Halloween Havoc. So good promo, 100. Yay, Helms is salty. Actually, cutting good promos, getting stuff over, all that fun stuff. And then we move over to quick, basically, graphic highlighting. We have a big tag match going from basically, the last couple weeks, as it's Kanyon teaming up with Jeff Hardy take on Light Storm and Mike Awesome. As you know, over, of course, it's going to be Kanyon versus Billy Kidman at Halloween Havoc. And that little graphic at the 71, where we go to the ring, where in our opening match, Jason Jett defends the television title in 503, defeating Sandman by pinfall with a crash. Oh, I need to actually edit that be the Moneymaker. Many times I'm going to actually remember to edit people's moves, but it's not called the Moneymaker. And Jet makes defense number 4 his world television title. Straight ahead clean win for Jet, as his little mini feud with Dean Malenko is basically over. 69 here, so solid win. Jet gets a 67, Sammy gets a 41, and there you go. And then post match, Jet is in the ring, and he just cuts a promo saying, "See, that was money, unlike Sandman. There's nothing but a broke down guy who took too many shots to the head. But me, I'm money. I'm Jason Jett, and I'm the television champion for a reason. So quick little just post match promo into the camera by Jet as that gets a 70, and we go on to backstage, where Tank Toland and Don Marie go into Eric Bischoff's office, and Bischoff looks exasperated as Tank's like, "Look, Don Marie told me that you've got a bigger opportunity for me. Well, I want that opportunity now, Eric. I don't want to wait anymore. I'm sick and tired waiting on the sidelines, because the sexiest man in WCW deserves shot at greatness." Bischoff looks over at Don Marie and says, "I thought we talked about this." Don shrugs, and Eric's like, "Fuck, Tank. There's not spot on the card tonight, but come to Revolution and you'll get exactly what you deserve." Tank's like, "Great, babe." And Don looks back at Eric I don't know, as she rubs Tank's shoulder and whispers in the ear, you're gonna be great, man. As this gets 67, continues to put over Tank's and Don's character, and building up, Tank actually will get a big match at Revolution. And then we go backstage, where AJ Styles is with RVD, as they put over that tonight they're going to be teaming up to take on their opponents at Halloween Havoc, Jeff Jarrett and Jamie Noble. Van Tam says, I've had my run-ins with, guys like Noble before, and, bro, I got your back. And AJ's like, we're the present and the future of professional wrestling, and I'm glad to be teaming up with you, because we're going to take you to the sky and show Noble and Jarrett that they're not the chosen few. They're not the future of this business. I am, and you're the next world champion. But he's like, I'm down with that. So just a little bit of a babyface admiration society. As again, babyfaces get along. Heels are evil, and thus, go after each other. Not that complicated. As this gets an 84, solid stuff. And then we have a little bit of a tune-up match for the number 1 contender, Celine Cartier, as she teams up with her longtime partner, Jordan Cole, and the newcomer, Ron Jonah, take on the European Disunion and Amber O'Neal. So, decent little 6-man match, back and forth, but in the end, Cartier gets the big win, pinning Amber O'Neal with the Slice Levy, which is, again, sort of an air raid crash. So again, your typical 6-man match, Cartier gets the babyface, tag in near the end, and just, things break down, tosses Lucina Pizic to the outside, grabs O'Neal, hits her with the Slice Levy, 1, 2, 3. This gets a 61 overall. Roni Jonah gets a 38. She's new. Jordan Cole gets a 48. Celine Cartier gets a 62. Amber O'Neal gets a 51. Lucina Pizic gets a 48. And Nathan Cole gets a 56. But as soon as basically the bell rings, Joni Lawler comes down the ringside, and just rolls over. She just boots Roni Jonah, who takes a big bump, hits a big lariat on Jordan Cole. But Celine Cartier is ready for, and they just start fighting as the referees and various other officials come out to try to break them apart, as the announcers put over the big women's world title match at Halloween Havoc between these two women. As this gets 67 and continues to build things up. And then we go backstage, where Prince Jose goes at the Blitzkrieg and basically says, "Look, I understand. You have this weird idea that you deserve this title shot. Well, there are things worth more than your honor, and I have the money to give you. You see, as a powerful prince of an African nation, I can offer you so many things that a man like you have never seen. But all you need to do is just sign over your title shot. Plus, of course, a match between myself and the skipper will be much more impressive than a match between him and you, somebody who he's already beat. Britry simply walks away as Osei says, one way or another, WCW will see my greatness. 47, just a fun little decent promo, putting, hyping up the Cruiserweight title match a little more and setting things up and giving a little bit of some character for Osei more. And then we're backstage. We're Monty Brown. This is this is a straightforward, promo saying, 6 more days until I end the myth of Bill Goldberg, and I prove I am the greatest, hottest talent in WCW, and that there's nobody who's going to give me away, nobody's going to stop me, and whoever does will feel the pounce as I rise to the top in this business. Again, just putting over the big Goldberg Monty Brown match at Halloween Havoc as this gets a 68. And then Mesias Morningstar, the number 1 contenders to the WCW Tag Team titles, destroy coming from Dev, Adam Ortiz, and Chris Rambola in 150 as Mesias just kills them with a big, it's a sickle, but it's just a choke slam. Mesias just destroys them as this gets a 50 as it literally goes 2 minutes. Morningstar gets an 81, Mesias gets an 80, Chris Rambola gets a 38, and Ortiz gets a 33. And, the two, Dev talents just roll to the outside as Morningstar takes the mic and says, the message has been received, and the blood that will be spilt is on thine own hands, because Chavo, right, you could have just handed over the titles and stopped this from happening. But what happens in 6 days will be your own fault, because you may question our methods, and you may question what we desire, but there's no question of our results, as everything we have wanted in WCW we have taken. And the only things that we have not taken is because the message has not told us to do yet. So, in just a few days, one more division will be conquered by Deadpool, and there's nothing that can stop us. So, and in only a few days, the message will be sent. The tag team will come under our control, and there will be only our righteous retribution. Cue Chauvin Wright coming down to ringside, and, Wright's like, you can say whatever you want. You can talk about whatever incantations or messages you're getting, guys. But we're ready for a fight. And at Halloween Havoc, we're going to get in there and defend our tag titles with everything we've got. So I think this is just going to be another rollover for you. You've got another thing coming. And me and Chavo, we're ready to kick some ass. And Morningstar takes the mic and says, that's too bad, because the only thing that was happening is only the Havoc that will result is on your hands. So there we go, building up that, big tag team match. This gets an 80, so good stuff. Especially considering I actually, managed to rate both Chavo and Wright. So, they're slowly getting there, getting a little more over as we move forward. As Gail Kim is backstage, and she cuts a quick promo saying, Lizzy, you think I'm sticking my nose in your business. Well, you have to remember, Dumas, maybe you're not used to there being more than 2 women in a women's division. It's the whole damn women's division by business, because whether or not you've got some backup, I'm still the head bitch in charge of WCW, and fine, on Revolution, you're going to get a reminder of that. And after I'm done with you, maybe there won't be anything for Tricia to actually defeat. And then she walks away as, yes, another big match for Revolution is Gail Kim versus Lizzy Dumas. And then we have Palumbo, late night at a biker bar, and then we still get the same shots we've been seeing, going shot for shot with people at the bar, arguing with another biker, but eventually leaving. And then we see him, basically at the end of the little video segment, leaving with a black-haired woman on the back of his bike as he leaves that bar. As that gets to 78, as Chuck Palumbo is still on the road. And then we have our big, oh no, well, okay, back strain is fine. The names you're just going to have to work through. Anyway, in a superb match, Jeff Jarrett and Jamie Noble defeat AJ Styles and Rob Van Dam in 14:56 when Noble pinned AJ Styles with a diving leg drop. Okay, I might have to see if I can figure out something for Noble's actual finisher, following interference from Ebony Sable. So this gets an 86 because look at these guys. Honestly, this probably could have main evented, possibly main evented, might want main event. Regardless, like it's exactly the sort of match you'd expect it. You know, Jarrett brawling with AJ a bit and then going after Van Dam. That's supposed to be outside. Noble and AJ Styles do some. I mean, again, I'm sure did they have a match in Ring of Honor during Noble's Ring of Honor run? Maybe. Regardless. But regardless of whether they did or not, you know, they go back and forth, some technical stuff, but AJ does some more high flying. Then eventually things break down. Ref is distracted by Jarrett and RVD brawling on the outside. That allows Sable to come in. Big gut wrench powerbomb on AJ. Nope, Noble's able as the finisher. And 1, 2, 3, the heels get the win 6 days before Halloween Havoc, as this gets an 86. Like it says here, RVD sustained the back strain, which I hope is just a few days. As Van Dam gets a 93, even with the injury. Styles gets an 84, Noble gets a 75, and Jarrett gets an 87. Fun stuff. Yes, I see. And post-match, the brawling just continues as the rest of the chosen few get involved. And like, you know, go after Van Dam to try to beat him down before but then Jack Evans and Teddy Hart also come down for the save, as it gets a 77. To continue, you know, to put forth the big feuds as the answers put over Noble AJ, the tag match between the chosen few and the Hart Legacy, and of course RVD versus Jarrett in a cage to determine they won't get the next title shot. Who will get the next? Who will be in line for another title shot after Halloween Havoc. Then we go backstage to Keean and Sharpe as he cuts a promo pointing at Brother Ray. Brother Ray, you have so much pain in you, so much anger lashing out at myself, who's just trying to put you on the right path. Because you see, this isn't the land of extremes anymore, Ray. There'll be no brain mutants with blood alcohol content higher than your IQ, no one with low self-esteem bearing their bodies for nothing more than a promise, no morons to sign that wrestling skill equates how many tables you break. No. Revolution will be a lesson about the future of pro wrestling and the path you need to take behind me. 66 decent promo. Again, put over. It's Sharpe versus it's Keean and Sharpe versus Brother Ray in an I Quit match on Revolution. And then a fun segment which gets a 92, which honestly not that surprising. So basically, we have Eddie Guerrero like in sort of it's a poor area of Tijuana. Like there's a little graphics Tijuana, and there's some spray paint. There's some Barrio stuff. I mean, if we could do this, we probably would actually go to like Tijuana and film this. Hopefully we could. And then, you know, Eddie is basically there, cutting promos saying, you know, Ray Jr. likes to tell a story how he grew up in Tijuana and became a wrestler when he was a teenager. Of course, dumb wrestling fans think of Tijuana as some poverty-stricken hole and think of poor little Ray running dangerous streets, living day-to-day, say, and bravely deciding to be a pro wrestler for his family. But, you know, that's not the truth. And anybody with a brain knows this. The truth is in the name, Rey Mysterio Jr. You see, Rey Mysterio Sr. is a legend in Mexico. Not as big a legend as anybody with the name Guerrero, of course, Holmes. But Ray went to the best schools, and heck, he actually lived in San Diego, sports not Tijuana. Because reality is, you see, all this is a fraud just like you, Ray Jr. You're not some underdog hero fighting for the fans. You're still a spoiled kid who thought because his father was something, he deserved a shot. And I admit, you've done a lot in your career. But you've always been a step below me, Ray. And you've always been jealous of that. You see, unlike you, I didn't trade on my name to begin with. I didn't start my career as a Guerrero. Yes, I learned to wrestle in our backyard in El Paso, but I began under a mask, and nobody out there in the crowd knew who I was. Because, you see, I have honor. And Guerrero family values is you don't use your name to get to the top. You prove you're actually the great wrestler you are. And Halloween Havoc, Ray, I remind you why everybody knows the name Guerrero, and everybody thinks your name was picked out by a marketing agency, SA. So, good solid promo, building some like a little more heat on this as this gets in 92. And we move forward, I believe, with one more segment. Yes, okay. Oh, no. Actually, I made it. Oof. Ooh, this was not good. This was not good. Why was this not good? This is my second... Oh, my God. This is the second straight thing I've forgotten to add to the storyline. Jesus Christ. This is just me ranting at the moment. Sorry, guys. But... Ugh, I absolutely hate when I do this. When I completely blow the main event because of the stupid storyline thing. Okay, I mean, yeah, looking at the match, this could have been solid 84s with the heat from the storyline, so maybe 85 or 86. Again, it's not the end of the... It's not some terrible thing because the Helm promo And the semifinal probably helped us, but still a little disappointing regardless. So Kanyon Hardy defeats Awesome Storm in 2006 when Kanyon pins Lightning Storm with Flatliner. So this is sort of the match you'd expect. Awesome throwing people around, Jeff Hardy taking bumps, Lightning Storm doing technical stuff, like trying to wrap Kanyon and Hardy in the holds. But Hardy fights back, does the hot babyface thing. Kanyon eventually gets tagged in, big fight, and two big things happen here. Like Awesome and Hardy actually brawl, and the Awesome actually hits a big Awesome bomb through a table, but despite this, Kanyon actually hits the Cannon Cutter on Awesome, not taking him out of the match, and then is able to hit the big Flatliner online Storm and get the pinfall victory. So this gets a 79, as you see, because of the lack of storyline, unfortunately. But yeah, match probably would have been like an 84, 85 otherwise, but good stuff. But post-match, as Kanyon is celebrating, Kidman runs in, and it's a 3-round beatdown 6 days before Halloween Havoc. Asis gets an 88 as he answers crowd boos, and Kidman looks like this lightning heel he is, and Awesome and Storm just do a quick beatdown as Hardy, is still just taken out on the outside. And overall, the show itself gets a 88. Okay, so actually, I overreacted, as I tend to do. So, but this could have easily been like a 90-91, if it would have been a better main event. Hey, there's a Fort ref. That's interesting. Anyway, as this loads, so I'll go over No Mercy, which was last night in the game, and Raw in just a moment here. And let's see here. Yeah, I know she's going away. Elizabeth gets to go back to Italy and end up dating George Clooney like she did in reality. And one other quick note I don't think I mentioned because I keep on forgetting about it is Air Paris actually left the company because he got mad after doing a job, and I just released him because there was no point to keep him around there when he was gone. So yeah. So basically, he did the job to Air Paris. Then I had to do a job. I forget even who at this point. He was unhappy about that, and so he's now just gone. So that's another thing. But looking at some other interesting news, Noah. Okay, so DDT and Noah they're no longer accepting dev territory work from Noah. So the 20 years too early of the cyber fight is now over. Kakihiro accepted an MMA fight. Interesting. Let's see here. Oh, New Japan hired Kevin Nash. Okay, fun. And Raw is going to the late night shop. Interesting. So before we go to Thunder or Revolution, let me go over both what Raw did the last couple. Raw did, and then what they did for the pay-per-view. If I can find... Oh, right, I forgot to. There we go. Helps to reset. Anyway, so first we had No Mercy. Let's see here. Anything of interest in the pre-show? Not really. Leviathan got a win over D'Lo, so that's nice. We had Terry defeating Ivory in a 64. I'm sure that was eye candy based. Rikishi defeating K-Quick in a dot collar match to retain the European title in a 69. We had Shaniqua defeating Molly Holloway again to retain the women's title. So, and that's in a 72. We had Outcast defeating TNA to retain the tag titles in a 77. We had an interesting trio of Scott Steiner, DDP, and Scott Hall defeating Al Snow, Perry Saturn, and Randy Orton. And if you notice, that's all 3 ex-WCW guys. I may have to write a cease and desist letter. Anyway, we had, let's see here, then after that, we had Kane defeating Billy Gunn Val Venus in 83 in a match for the Sure match. We had Kurt Angle defeating Steven Richards and was probably basically a squash. We had JBL defeating Christian, Raven, and Vampiro to retain the IC title in an 86. And let me just see here. So yeah, Vamp got an 85, so that's interesting. The Undertaker defeating Blue and Regal by countout in a 99. Okay. Edge defeated Triple H by DQ, so I'm imagining a sledgehammer. And in probably the weakest, as far as match mattering that WWF had a while, they actually main event with a tag match. So hey, they're learning from the JMac Chad Talk series of YouTube of TEW series. Just messing with you guys. Anyway, Shawn Michaels and The Big Show defeated Chris Jericho and Brock Lesnar in 99. So yes, the world champion Chris Benoit was not even on the show. Very interesting. That would be something the internet would implode about in 2004. They gave her some of the title, but they're still pushing Shawn Michaels and Brock Lesnar, and Triple H. Yeah, Undertaker. Oh yeah, Undertaker was not elected at this point anyway. So we go to Raw, where Molly Holly and Ivory defeated Kara Slice and Linda Miles. We had William Regal defeating Dick Dinsmore in a squash. Raven DDP and Hall defeated Valvina, Saturn, and Al Snow in a 70. Kurt Angle won a squash in a 77. Brock defeated Christian in a 92. Undertaker defeated Billy Gunn in a dog collar match in a 78. And the main event, Michaels and Big Show defeated Benoit and Jericho by DQ. So this only got a 79, so that's very interesting. So, yeah, fun stuff. I'll be back in just a moment with Revolution. Welcome to Revolution, live from the Sprint Center in beautiful Kansas City, Missouri, as we're at the final go-home show before Halloween Havoc. And we start out with the Chosen Few coming out to the boos of the crowd. As, Jarrett says, tonight, Chosen Few, my man, who I've deemed will be the future of this business, you'll see a little preview of what they're going to do to those Canadian punks. And there's nothing that pot-smoking idiot RVD can do about it. He's going to have to see his new little buddies get their asses kicked by somebody with actual talent. Because Slapnuts, I can see talent, and I can spot it from a mile away. And they've got it. Heart Legacy, that's all you are, is a legacy. Cue RVD and Hart and Evans coming down, and, and Jarrett's like, well, there it is. The little extremist trying to help out his little buddies, but there's nothing you can do. Everybody's like, man, what's your problem? Look, I get it. You're upset that once your main man had to get out of here with his tail between his legs, running back to his video store or whatever in New York. There's nobody backing you, so you couldn't actually be given world title shots out of nowhere. And look, you've done nothing since then. You won some tag titles, thanks to an ECW guy like me. But beyond that, there's been nothing. And now you've got some people who think you're something special, but you're not, Jarrett. You're just another guy who grew up with a silver spoon, think he was born on third base. Well, guys like me worked to get up this business. Jarrett's like, yeah, you say that, but here's the difference, Reverend. Damn. I'm been a world champion. You've been nothing but a choke artist. And Van Dam fires back. I know, wait, and lost my train of thought. Hey, we can do that. Oh, and Jarrett's like, and yeah, RVD, you can talk about I've been world champion, but you were a choke artist. You've gotten shots at world title, and you've blown every single one of them. And yeah, it's true. I know you're going to say something about my guitar or my backup or whatever, but the reality is, you're no angel yourself. You like to tip people with chairs when the ref is KO'd, but the fans back it up because they're nothing but hypocrites, and so are you, Van Dam. And Van Dam's like, look, Jarrett, in a couple days, everybody's going to find out that Rob Van Dam is going to be the man getting the next big world title shot. And Jarrett goes going to have to whine and cry some more. So choke on that. Jarrett, we'll just have to see Slapnuts, because in a couple days, people are going to see that Rob Van Dam is nothing but a choke artist, and JEFFJARREWT, the chosen one, will rise to the top where he belongs. 93, good promo, as we start doing one last sell job for Jarrett RVD. Originally was going to book these. Originally, the main event was going to be an 8-man instead of a 6-man, but unfortunately, RVD's injured. I don't want to screw things up since it's just a temporary injury, so there we go. Still, gets a 93, good stuff. Then we have a fun little segment as the Roman Empire comes down to the ring, and, basically Toro says, the Roman Empire does not wait for any man. You see, the Roman Empire takes what it wants when it wants. So Paul London, come out here and let me take your US title early so you can accept your fate as nothing but a temporary loser, as I crush you like the Roman Empire crushed the city of London and the rest of the British Isles so long ago. Use for that as Paul London comes out and says, okay, that was a stretch, but regardless, look, we agreed to a match for Halloween Havoc, and Bischoff's not going to let you have that match, and I'm not about to get my ass kicked for nothings, for something that won't matter. So, you want to think you can defeat me in a couple days? Good luck, Toro, but we're not going to have a match tonight. And Toro says, fine, You are going to face me, but face one of my loyal soldiers, and it'll just be a preview of the violent of what's going to happen to you when I take away that U.S. title at Halloween Havoc. London agrees, and the match is on, as this gets a 72. Then we move on to the actual match, as we've got Paul London versus Swinger Pomponius. So this is just a fun little like high spot style match. Like Swinger is a decent worker, and Paul London, is obviously a high flyer. So this is just move. But in the end, Paul London hits the London Calling Shooting Star Express to get the pinfall victory over Swinger in about 5 minutes. As this gets a 67. London gets a 77, Swinger gets a 47, and London just gets built up a little more before his big US title match against Toro. And after the match, of course, what happens is basically, London gets the win. Romeo tries to, come in and attack him, but London throws him to the outside. Swinger goes on the attack, but London's return goes the outside before Toro can get in, and then London goes off the far ropes and big dive on everybody. Then London walks away to the cheers of the crowd as he gets one on over the entire Roman Empire tonight here on Revolution, a few days before Halloween Havoc, as this gets a 70. And we move forward. So then we go backstage for a quick little, well, not quick, but like a 4-minute angle between the three big faces in the main event tonight, as we got Sean O'Hare, Rey Mysterio Jr., and Kanyon. Kanyon puts over, that he's ready for a fight and prove that nobody's really in Kanyon. And Kim, in a couple days, you're going to be reminded why I beat your ass again and why I can do it again. Rey Jr. says, Eddie, you think, Eddie thinks he's the first guy who pointed out that, my family was successful. Yes, we were successful in wrestling, but that doesn't mean I had to fight hard to get to the top in this company, especially when I came to America. Yes, I had a leg in when I started in Lucha Libre. But once I entered the United States, nobody who knew I was, people thought I was a child. So Eddie, yes, I was successful, you were successful, but Halloween Havoc, I'm going to prove to you, it's been 7 years. 7 years is a long time. I want to get past you and defeat you. And Eric says, TikTok. Helms, you talk about me shining up the belt and getting ready for you to hand it over to you. Well, here's the thing, Helms. The future is still now. And if you think just because you're upset that the brass in the back gave you a few dumb ideas, I was put in with a bunch of other guys just because we were all at the power plant at the same time. Some of those guys were great, like Chuck. Other of them were, well, you can see where they are now. But here's the reality. At Halloween Havoc, I'm still going to be WCW World Champion because I am the future of WCW, and I'm going to lead the way into that future. And there's nothing you can do about it, Held Holmes, except the future shock. 85, good promo as we move forward. As we have our preview of the big tag match at Halloween Havoc, as in a decent match, Mark Jindrak defeated Teddy Hart in 8:02 by pinfall with a mark perfection, which I'll have to actually look up after the destruction from Simply Johnny Divine. So typical, back and forth match. Teddy Hart does some high flying stuff to take the advantage. Mark Jindrak, gets the advantage back with some cheating tactics and, having more power and size. Hart gets a few more flying moves to get the advantage. But just as it looks like he's going to hit a big dive, out comes Simply Johnny Divine to distract him. That gives Jindrak just enough time to basically recover. And, Hart still goes for the big, high impact move from the top rope, but Jindrak is ready for him. Turns into a power slam or some sort of suplex or something. Takes over, hits mark perfection, and gets a big 1-2-3 victory. As this gets a shockingly high 78. I sometimes forget that Jindrak was actually getting pretty over and was decently over before this. As Jindrak gets a 74, Taylor gets a 70, 63, and overall the match itself gets a 78. And post-match, of course, we have some fighting between all four as Jack Evans comes down and hits a big dive of his own on Simply Johnny Divine, and the brawl is on before WCW officials break it up as the announcers put over the big tag match for Halloween Havoc between these two guys, as it's going to be Teddy Hart and Jack Evans Hart Legacy taking on the chosen few duo of Simply Johnny Divine and Mark Jindrak. Let's get to 66 because, these guys aren't the most over, and fighting is fighting. What can you do about it? Then we move forward. As now we're backstage with the heels, as of course, because they're heels, they're not quite on the same page as the babyfaces. As, Eddie says, look, I'm the only world champion in this room. Shane Helms' point, that's going to be different in a couple days. And plus, I super kicked your opponent and got him ready for you at Halloween Havoc. So you should be thanking me, Eddie. And he's like, Holmes, silver roll. Look, O'Hare, he's a big, tough SOB. We can take care of him. Ray is Ray. We've all had our run-ins with him, so we know how to work with him. And Kanyon's the same self-deluded fool he's always been, but now the fans are behind. So we can focus on these guys and get it ready. Look, Bischoff already told us we can't have our backup down there. Well, you guys can't even back up because, I fight on my own. Only because your family hates you, Kidman adds in. Look, my nephew will come to his senses sooner or later, and he'll run away from his little German buddies soon enough. Maybe after Halloween Havoc. But it's like that. We're a team, and reality is, whether we disagree on other things, we are 3 of the best cruiserweights of all time, I say. And tonight, we're going to remind these fans why they used to cheer us, why they used to respect us, and why they still should. I was like, I'm fine with that, but I'm going to remind them all why I'm the greatest cruiserweight of my era. And Helms, you want to talk about to be the legend color? Well, I'm the real cruiserweight legend, and Ray's nothing but a phone. I was like, that's fine. But tonight will only continue my ascension, and you two better not get in my way. So 86, decent promo, and then moving forward. And for our big women's match, only a few days before Revolution, as of course Lizzy Dumas doesn't have a match because Angel Fox is facing Trisha Sky. Well, Gail Kim, lost against Sterling Lawler, so she's sort of out of things for the moment. But these 2 men, of course, are still 2 of the best women in professional wrestling today, and they have actually a really solid match. I think this might be our best this might be one of our better non-Joni matches because she has the overness boost. But regardless, back and forth match. Gail Kim hits the eat defeat basically in the middle of the match, but it's too close to the ropes. Lizzy fights back with some brawling, hits a modified version of Twist of Fate, but Gail Kim gets out of the way of the moonsault. Eventually, Dumas gets a sort of like rolling reverse cradle, holds the tights, and gets the cheap victory 1, 2, 3 as a crowd boos. But a simple heel victory for Lizzy, and also a bit of a reminding people that she was Lita and was shown more for her body in WWF, but she is a solid wrestler. She gets a big win over the former WCW Women's Champion. This gets a 64. Lizzy Dumas gets a 70, and Gail Kim gets a 59. But post-match, it's good. Looks like it's going to be a 3-on-1 beatdown because the heels are going to be heels when Trisha Sky makes a save. And there's a stare down between her and Angel Fox as everybody else also, as she helps Gail Kim up as the crowd cheers. And the announcers put over the big women's match at Halloween Havoc as this gets a 63. Fun stuff. Then we go backstage, where Jeremy Borash is with Jamie Noble, and as always, standing beside him is Ebony Sable, as Noble says, the disrespect is really what infuriates me. I made the path for guys like AJ Styles to rise up here. Guys like me, guys like Billy Kidman, guys like, I'm blanking, inserts, guys like, even Demi Lenko, even he's off the reservation at the moment. You see, they should have some damn respect for the elders. And it's sad that somebody like AJ, who's come from the same part of the country as myself, doesn't have that proper respect. You see, your daddy should have taught respect for your elders and for people higher up the food chain than you, AJ, because let's be honest, you're a bottom feeder. You got lucky with some tag team titles, but you're not quite at my level yet. You're not at the right level of Jamie Noble. And at Halloween Havoc, since you've gotten your respect for me, I'm going to be doing it to you. And when you're tapping out and screaming, just realize it's your own fault. Noble walks away as we got some final heat for Noble AJ Styles at Halloween Havoc as this gets a 74, and we move forward. And then we move forward as Tank Toland comes out with Dawn Marie, and he says, I was promised an opportunity. I was promised a huge opportunity, and damn it, I want it right now. And then Bill Goldberg music hits, and of course, Tank freaks out. As this gets 72, and yes, it's time for the actual match as Bill Goldberg kills Tank Toland in 326 by the jackhammer, because of course that's what happened. Tank Toland lasts a little longer because he's a member of the actual roster, even though he's a bit of a low harder. But, it's still Goldberg, and he still tanked Toland, so Toland gets a little bit of offense in, but Goldberg basically no-sells it and then runs him over. 1, 2, 3, a 70 because it was 3 minutes, as Goldberg gets a 96 and Tank Toland gets a 48, 70 overall. Big win for Goldberg. And then afterwards, Goldberg is celebrating when it's Monty Brown. He runs in the ring, goes after Goldberg from behind. The brawl happens, but but Monty Brown has the advantage, being the attacker from behind. And then he hits a big pounce on Goldberg, and then Goldberg has to roll out. And, Monty Brown celebrates as should put over. The Titanic confrontation between these two men will finally come to a head at Halloween Havoc, as this gets an 82. Then we have a quick backstage, well, not quick, not like a 1 minute, but like a 3-minute segment with Triumvirate, our current tag team champions, as they say, look, we were given no shot to win tag titles. We were just two guys who were randomly put together, but we rose to the top, and we've been very, very, very successful. And my uncle says a lot of things, but he's right. For family values do means we fight like hell. And it might be true we might lose at Halloween Havoc. But I've fought with my uncle. I've been a former cruiserweight champion. Alex here has been a more successful wrestler than anybody has expected. And now, some say we're going to need a miracle to win. But no, what we need is for us to work together like the tag team we are, and prove the doubters wrong. And sure, we wouldn't call it a miracle, we'll just call it a victory. So one last little sell job for the tag titles, as this gets a 71. And we move forward with, I forgot. I should have put this lower down in the card. This might tank it. Well, hopefully the main event will be really good. But okay, so of course I knew this was going to be bad because they had no chemistry, but I wanted to blow it off still because it has been a feud, So I didn't want to totally just push it out of nowhere. But this blows up on Revolution as, this is just a bloody, not quite a super bloody brawl. But this is just a fight, Keean Sharpe, but slowly but surely, Keean Sharpe breaks down Brother Ray with submission move, quick strikes, quick Muay Thai style kicks, and finally but of course at the end, because he kind of is a hypocrite heel, Sharpe is ready for Brother Ray, nails him from behind with a kind of stick shot of his own, locks in Brother Ray in a submission right in the middle of the ring with nowhere to go, and Brother Ray has to say, I quit, as Keean Sharpe gets a big win here on Revolution, as this gets a 57, Sharpe gets a 57, Brother Ray gets a 69. Like I said, Sharpe and Ray don't seem to click, but I already knew that. But Sharpe is sort of over celebrating with the crowd when Brother Ray comes down and the brawl continues, but Sharpe is ready, hits another quick kick to Brother Ray's knee to sort of slow him down, and then Sharpe escapes to the back as just put over. Sharpe has gotten what some may deem a kind of lucky win here, but it's a big win over Brother Ray as we head into the Mayhem tournament. At least it's got a 73, which is a little better than the match itself. And then we have one final segment with our friend Jeff Palumbo, as basically we're in a kind of seedy motel, as Palumbo has a convo on the phone and goes basically to leave the hotel room towards his bike when the black-haired lady that we saw at the bar tries to give him to stay, says, he should be fighting his own battles, not helping out his buddy all the time. Chuck says he has to be there for his brother because he was there for him. And then sort of the black-haired lady says something, but it's sort of muffled and we can't hear it. And then Palumbo nods in response. And then Palumbo leaves the lady on his back on the motorcycle, seemingly heading back into WCW after basically a month off. As this gets an 84. So, he is part of the Mayhem tournament, as everybody has seen. We'll just have to see what he does in that tournament. As this gets an 84, and we move to our main event, which is, yep. So this is just a goddamn awesome 6-man match. Look at 6 guys in the ring and you're not shocked. Honestly, probably this type of match probably like actually try to avoid like people actually in the matches going with each other. So I can imagine like O'Hara and Heidi having a little bit of a refresh of their matches that just happened at Fall Brawl. Shane Helms going after Ray Jr., but Ray Jr. gets some high flying with his own. Kanyon going after Eddie, because of course they had their matches at basically the beginning of Eddie's title run, including Eddie winning the world title off him at Starrcade. But then there's some little shots like Helms goes after O'Hara, but O'Hara hits a big like power slam and goes for the lariat on him. Rey Mysterio Jr. hits a big dive onto Eddie, and they fight a bit. Kanyon goes for the Kidman cutter on Kidman, but Kidman pushes him off, but then Kidman gets out of the Kid Crusher, and eventually things break down, and we're going to the outside, and everybody, and this is sort of a dive train, as O'Hara's out on first, so Helms had a dive on him. That means Ray hits a dive on Helms. Eddie hits a dive on Ray and everybody else. Then Kanyon goes out to the ring apron and hits a dive on both those guys, and then Kanyon finishes out with a dive of his own, and the brawl continues, and it's breaking down, and everybody's fighting each other, and eventually the ref calls for the bell, and it's a double countout because it's the last show before the pay-per-view, so of course things can't end with a specific victory. As this gets a 94 overall, so a really good match, as Kanyon gets an 89, Ray gets a 90, O'Hara gets an 86, Helms gets an 87, Eddie gets a 92, and Kidman gets an 88. And then the post-match segment, which is just more fighting, as the answers put over the big, huge matches here, along with everything else on the show, as it gets a 90, and overall, the show itself gets a 89. So, good stuff. Was kind of hoping for a 90 there, but I guess, that's, probably if we had a different semi-final match, we probably could have got, above a 90, but oh well, stuff happens. What can you do? Book better. Yes, of course. I can always do that, but, really, what can you do? And let's see here. This is still loading up. Loading. There we go. Yeah. So let's see here. Anything of note outside of the catchphrase? Time. Okay. Sure, guys. So again, to go over things. Well, first, before I actually go over the rest of the world, let's go over the final lineup for the pay-per-view here. So we got in the main event, Shane Helms getting his world title shot against Sean O'Hara. We got RVD versus Jeff Jarrett in a cage match, determine the next now world contender for the world title in a big U.S. title match, which I did not realize I never pre-booked. So let's actually pre-book that right freaking now. That's kind of dumb. Not going to matter to the actual booking, but that's unfortunate. There you go. Anyway, so we got Palumbo versus Jonathan Toro for the U.S. title, as Toro got the big win over Tajiri and is now getting a shot at the U.S. title. We've got a Skipper versus Blitzkrieg for the Cruiserweight title. Also, I have a huge women's world title match as Joanie Lawler faces Celine Cartier. Cartier, says she's going to pull off the big upset, and Lawler is just looking at Cartier as another person to be destroyed in the women's division. We have a huge Battle of the Titans as Bill Goldberg faces Monty Brown. Of course, Monty Brown is still undefeated here in WCW, and Goldberg, of course, had the long streak and is, the man here in WCW still. Eddie Guerrero faces Rey Mysterio Jr. in a throwback to their insane match from 7 years ago, one of the best opening matches of all time. Kanyon versus Billy Kidman, as Kanyon, of course, have been trying to get revenge on Triumvirate for the past couple weeks. A big tag team approach continues as Simply Johnny Devine and Mark Jindrak of the Chosen Few take on the Hart Legacy. The tag titles, as will the message be received, will it be successful as Mesias Morningstar tries to take the tag titles off of Wright and Chavo. Tricia Sky faces Angel Fox, and finally she'll get her match against Lizzy Dumas if she beats Angel Fox, the last member of the little heel Trulism build-up. And of course, AJ Styles versus Jamie Noble. So a huge Halloween Havoc, which should really be a big show. Live from Denver, Colorado, by the way. But anyway, now to go over the actual rest of the show. Or not rest of the show, but rest of the world. So first, WWE had SmackDown. It included Jackie and Ivory defeating Women on Top, Raven defeating Steve Richards in an 80, William Regal won a squash, the Gals of Bruja, which is Vampiro, Kane, and Leviathan defeated Val Venus and the Outcast in a 90, so that's a good match. And getting Leviathan and Vampiro over. Shawn Michaels won a squash for defeating Matt Classic. Billy Gunn defeated Randy Orton in a cage match, so big loss for Orton, obviously. And then the main event, Triple H and Brock Lesnar defeated Big Show and The Undertaker in '99 in a match the internet would have absolutely hated at the time. And so going over, first, RDev. So NWA Wildside, they had their TV, had Claudio defeating Rain Man in a 51, had Tony Jones and Shannon Bella defeat Trevor Rhodes and Stone Mountain in a 51. We had Cassie O'Reilly defeating Matt Cross in a 61. We had Jason Cross defeating Matt Morgan in a 59. And we had Lazarus and Shane Balor teaming up to defeat the Seekers of Sin, who is Rothschild and Killswitch, in a 65. So fun stuff. And then for Fright Night, which is, one of their big shows, we had Rain Man defeating Matt Cross in a 45. We had Tony Jones and Ryan Drago defeat Rick Michaels and John Phoenix in a 49. We had Dagan Briggs and Suzuki defeat Double C and Lashley in a 51. We had Tom Zuma Howard retain the NWA North American title over Christian Bull in a 56. We had Tomko, Rhodes, and Mountain defeating Militech and Orton and Daz in a 56. We had Chance Prophet defeating Keith Walker in a 61. We had the Seekers of Sin defeat Kay Grives and Shannon Ballard in a 62. We had Jimmy Ray defeating Shane Ballard in a 65. We had Lazarus defeating Cassie O'Reilly, and then we had Adam Jacobs defeating Jason Cross in a 76. So fun stuff. And then for our weekly house show after that, we had Rick Michaels defeating Bobby Lashley in a 43. We had Shannon Ballard and Claudio defeating Ken Suzuki and Sonny Siaki in a 54. Let's see here. We had John Phoenix and Trevor Rhodes and Stone Mountain defeat Keith Walker and Orton Daz in a 60. We had Kai Grace defeat Chance Prophet in a 64, so a big win for the region. We had Travis Tomko defeat Tony Jones in a 49. And then, let's see, Jason Cross and Christian Bull defeat TNT to retain the tag titles, and Adam Jacobs defeating Shane Ballard. And then for our women's fed, we had Mischief defeating ODT by countout in a 43. We had Bonnie Maxon and Becky Bayless defeat Madison Sinclair and Ariel in a 54. We had Beth Phoenix and Osaka and Lacey defeat Allison Danger and the Mega Woman in a 59. We had Amy Social defeat Nikki Roxx and an I Quit match in a 61. So yes, and a match between Nikki Roxx and Amy Social was better than Sharpe, really, right? That's unfortunate. And in the main event, Sheila and Melissa defeated Desire and Vanessa Harding to retain the AEW title in a 60. So fun stuff. Then if we go to HWA, for their weekly show, we had Jimmy Jacobs defeated Dustin Lee in a 36. Yes, Dustin Lee is that Dustin Lee. Skin Dive defeated Jorge Estrada. We had Rocky Romero and John Cena. Two of the most powerful men in real life wrestling defeated Barry Bradburn, Origin, and Alex Shelley in a 49. Cena's already up to a 42, so that's good for him. We had Andy Douglas, Ricky Jane Page, and Billy Bax defeated Logan Kane and Club Deluxe in a 46. And Russ Haas defeating Corey Castle. And Cavatelli and Shark Boy winning the HWA tag titles over ECMO and Grunge and Cyber Squad. And the main event, Chuck Clare defeated Excalibur and BG Whitmer to retain the HWA TV title in a 50. And then for OVW, let's see here. I think they did OVW things mostly. So let's see. Stuff you guys would care about. Chemo defeating John Morrison. Sarah Stock and Evelyn Chambers, a region defeated Miss Satchel and Chantel Taylor in a 43. Mafia defeated Charlie Ross by DQ in a 53. Spanky and Bradley defeated the A Squad. Rob Conway defeated Joey Matthews. Hugo Constantino defeated Maven, and Homicide hopefully beat down Joey Ryan in a 65. And then for the Saturday show, we had, let's see here, Sheriff Stock defeated Chantel Taylor in a 46. Danny Jordan defeated Charlie Ross by DQ in a 49. Damage defeated Joey Matthews in a 59. Maven defeated Bold Cannon in a match of future WWE mid-carders in a 55. Homicide and Spanky defeated Ricky Contino and Rob Conway in a 63. That could be actually a fun mid-card tag team. And Justice defeated Joey Ryan to retain the OVW title in a 68. So, fun stuff. Was there anything? I think All Japan had a big show, maybe? Yes. Yes. Did this happen? Well, anyway, All Japan had just a terrible show because they didn't have like any other top guys on. Like their main event was Kaya defeating Shingo Okamura in a 67. Now, here's the thing: Kaya will eventually be a big star, but yeah, not yet. And then we got the Access, which is still the most funny name for a tag team in Japan. Henning, Mr. Perfect and Kawada defeated Jim Steele and Johnny Smith in a 68. Kawada's like still getting 92s, but everybody else there, unfortunately. Hayabusa Cure was probably fun in real life, but not that great. But yeah, fun stuff. Was there anything else of note for the big shows? I always forget to show this stuff to you guys. Let's see. DDT didn't have anything. Right, I already showed you guys. Yeah, this happened a while ago. Noah's Noah. Noah's on tour, and New Japan is, of course, on tour, doing their G1 Tag League, and yeah, that's about of note. So, again, I just went over the Halloween Havoc card earlier. Of course, again, follow the link in the description or in the Reddit post to sign up for the fan pick'em. But that's it for now. So if you enjoyed the show, go ahead and give it a like. Comment below what you're liking and not liking. Of course, subscribe to the channel for this content and hopefully some other TEW 2020 content that will be popping up. But that's it for now. So talk later and adios. Have a good one.